Welcome to the deep dive. You know, we often focus on the big stuff, the headlines, the major shifts, but today we're zooming right in.
Right into the everyday fabric of how we talk.
Exactly. We're looking at the English language itself, specifically those little phrases you hear constantly, the ones that seem simple, maybe even trivial.
The ones you barely notice sometimes.
But they're actually doing a ton of heavy lifting. They're like these tiny, tiny keys that unlock smoother conversations, clearer understanding. They're not just filler words.
No, definitely not. They're the subtle gears, that make communication actually work.
Yeah.
They help you sound, well, not just like you know the words, but like you really get the flow of English. Natural, connected.
And that's really our mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack 4 of these phrases. You hear them all the time, I guarantee it. But their nuances, how you actually use them, maybe even the psychology behind them, it might surprise you.
Yeah, we're going beyond just the dictionary definition here.
We want to explore why getting a real handle on these can seriously level up your communication. Think of it like a shortcut, maybe. Not just to sounding more natural, but to really understanding that subtle dance of conversation.
And communicating with a lot more precision. It's about navigating those nuances effectively.
Our exploration today, it's inspired by a curated selection of these kinds of essential phrases. The ones designed to give you a real boost in mastering conversational English, connecting with native speakers.
Consider this your linguistic subtext masterclass, maybe.
Yeah.
We're aiming to give you the blueprint, how to interpret them, how to use them yourself, like you've been doing it forever.
Okay, let's do it. Let's open up that linguistic toolbox. First one out deals with time and often a bit of pressure, right? The phrase is within the hour.
Within the hour. Yeah, that's a great one to start with because it sounds specific, but it also carries this built-in sense of immediacy and expectation.
So what does it actually mean, like precisely?
Fundamentally, it means the action or event, whatever it is, will happen at some point between right now, this very moment, and exactly 60 minutes from now.
Okay, so any point in that 60-minute window.
Exactly. Could be in 5 minutes, could be in 55. But crucially, it won't be 61 minutes from now. It's basically a compact promise with a deadline baked right in.
Right, so it's not vague like later or soon. It's a commitment to the very near future. That seems really important, especially, say, at work.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine your manager saying, I need that presentation finalized and emailed to me within the hour.
Okay, yeah. That feels different than get it to me this afternoon.
Totally different. What's critical there isn't just the speed, it's the implied accountability. It cuts through any polite vagueness. It signals, hey, this is blocking something else, or I need it now, basically.
So your delay has consequences.
Right. A direct, tangible cascade effect.
Yeah.
Maybe they need it for their meeting or for a client call that's happening soon. It's a strategic way to say this is important without actually spelling it out.
It's a non-negotiable short-term deadline. The stakes feel immediate if you miss it.
Could be a missed client opportunity, a delayed report going up the chain, maybe even production gets held up. The phrase is like a subtle, firm nudge. Focus on this now.
And it's not just work, is it? We run into this in everyday life all the time. Waiting for services, deliveries.
Oh yeah, we've all been there. Your internet goes down, you call support, and they say, the technician said he'd be here within the hour to fix the internet.
Or maybe something more pleasant, like, your food delivery should arrive within the hour. That phrase does something to how you wait, doesn't it?
It really does. It's about managing expectations and honestly managing anxiety.
Yeah.
Imagine just hearing, it'll arrive soon. What does soon even mean? 5 minutes, an hour. It leaves you in limbo.
Yeah, constantly checking your phone can't really settle into anything else.
Exactly. But within the hour gives you a defined window. Okay, 60 minutes max. Maybe I can quickly answer those emails or take the dog out or just relax a bit without pacing. It sets a clear, actionable expectation.
It tells you how to be while you're waiting.
Precisely. It's not just when, it's how to manage that waiting period.
I totally get that. I remember waiting for some important documents once. The courier app just said, out for delivery. Drove me nuts. I was practically glued to the window. Then finally an update. Arriving within 15 minutes. The relief was huge. Not just, oh good, it's coming, but the certainty. Knowing the time frame, within the hour, does that same thing, just on a slightly bigger scale. It's information versus stress.
That's a perfect example of the psychological impact. And this clarity, it bleeds into personal commitments too. You tell a friend, hey, I'll call you back within the hour to confirm our plans for tonight.
What does that signal?
It's not just, I'll call you later. It says, you're a priority. I respect your time. I haven't forgotten. It shows reliability, consideration. Even in casual settings, it builds trust. It's like a proactive reassurance.
Okay, so it builds rapport subtly. But what about really high-stakes situations, like medical stuff? You hear it there, too. The emergency room doctor will see you within the hour.
Yeah, and in those critical situations, understanding that phrase can genuinely reduce anxiety. Waiting in an ER is stressful, obviously, but hearing within the hour provides a tangible, if still approximate, expectation.
It's better than just waiting indefinitely.
Yeah, much better. It suggests your situation is acknowledged, it's being processed, even if you're not the absolute top priority right this second. It's a psychological anchor in a really uncertain time. It also implies, that there's a professional triage system working.
Right, gives a sense of order, competence.
Exactly. Without that time frame, patients might feel forgotten, ignored, which just makes everything worse.
Okay, so let's talk precision again. You said it's relatively precise, not vague, but how precise? And how does it compare to phrases that sound kind of similar?
Good question. It is relatively precise, remember. Anytime between now and the 60-minute mark. So 5 minutes, 30 minutes, 59 minutes, all valid, but not 61 minutes. That's the key difference from, say, in an hour or around an hour.
Okay, what's the difference there? In an hour sounds pretty close.
It does, but the implication is different. If I say I'll be there in an hour, I usually mean I'll arrive roughly at the end of that 60-minute period. Maybe 60 minutes, maybe 65. The focus is on the completion of that time block.
Ah, okay. And around an hour?
That's much looser, much less definite. Around an hour could easily mean 45 minutes or it could mean 75 minutes. It gives a lot more wiggle room.
Got it. So within the hour is specifically before the hour is up. In an hour is at or maybe slightly after the hour mark. And around an hour is, well, fuzzy.
You nailed it. And that distinction really matters for managing expectations. Let's try that example again. I tell you, I'll send the report in an hour.
Okay, I'm probably thinking, all right, check back in about 60 minutes.
Right. But if I say, I'll send the report within the hour.
Then maybe I'm checking my email in 20 minutes. 30. Because it could arrive any time. It feels like you're working on it now, prioritizing it.
Exactly. That subtle shift from at the end of to any time before totally changes the game. It manages the other person's anticipation, maybe even anxiety, and it shows you're being proactive. It's like a built-in under-promise, over-deliver mechanism.
That's clever. It implies importance without explicitly saying it.
Precisely. You wouldn't usually say, I'll get around to tidying my desk within the hour, unless, for some reason, a tidy desk suddenly became urgent. The phrase itself carries that weight.
So for you listening, getting this phrase isn't just vocabulary. It's understanding the pressure, the expectation, the strategy behind it. Really useful for work deadlines, personal appointments, managing social plans. Basically, any time is sensitive.
It lets you be clear in your own promises and accurately read the commitments others make to you. That's a huge part of fluent, nuanced communication. It's a tiny phrase, but it moves mountains of expectation.
Okay, so if within the hour gives us that time focus, our next phrase, go over, is like a chameleon. It completely changes depending on where you find it.
Oh, go over is a classic example of a phrasal verb doing, well, multiple jobs. It really highlights how context-dependent English can be. This is exactly the kind of thing that can trip learners up.
Because it has, what, at least 3 really distinct meanings?
At least 3 common ones, yeah. And they're quite different from each other. It can mean anything from a detailed inspection to just popping over to someone's house.
All right, let's tackle the first one, the one you hear a lot in school or at work. To review or examine in detail.
Right. Like a teacher saying, okay, class, let's go over the homework. Or in an office, we really need to go over these budget figures carefully.
What's the feeling behind that usage?
It implies a thorough look, often critical in the sense of looking for errors or areas for improvement. It's definitely not just a quick glance. It's an active, engaged process.
So when my boss says, let's go over your report, I shouldn't expect just a thumbs up.
Probably not. Expect scrutiny, questions, maybe suggestions. When a team goes over a proposal before sending it to a client, they're dissecting it, checking every number, every claim, making sure it's watertight. It's about quality control, accuracy, understanding.
I had this English teacher in high school, Mrs. Evans. She was famous for this. She wouldn't just mark your essays. She'd schedule a time to go over it with you line by line.
Ah, see, that's perfect. It wasn't just correcting, it was instructing.
Totally. Explaining why the sentence structure worked better or how that argument could be stronger, it was about ensuring you understood.
And that highlights another facet of this meaning. It's often used instructionally. Let me go over the safety procedures with you again, or I'll go over how to assemble this thing. It implies explaining step by step, making sure the other person gets it. It's about guiding, ensuring comprehension.
Okay, so meaning 1, detailed review, examination, often instructional. Got it. Now, meaning 2 feels like a total shift. To visit someone's place.
Complete shift. Yeah, this is super common, very casual. Want to go over to Sarah's later, or I'm going over to my parents this weekend.
So just traveling to someone's home or location?
Pretty much. Usually for a social visit, often informal. You wouldn't normally say, I'm going over to the embassy for the gala. It implies a certain casualness, comfort, maybe popping in.
It feels warmer than just visit.
It does, often.
Yeah.
It's very common for family stuff, too, like you mentioned, going over to your aunt's for dinner. It reinforces that sense of connection, community, informal hospitality. It's just woven into how we talk about casual get-togethers.
It's interesting how one phrase can cover both scrutinizing a document and hanging out with friends.
Language is efficient, right? Or sometimes confusing.
Which brings us to the third meaning.
Which is different again. To exceed a limit or boundary. And this one often sounds like a warning.
It frequently is. This meaning, while maybe less common than the first two, is really important for understanding restrictions or potential problems. Think financially. We absolutely cannot go over budget on this project. Oof.
Yeah, you can hear the stress there. It means crossing a line, a predetermined threshold, and usually that's bad news.
Right. It signals a red line. Going past it has negative consequences. Maybe the project gets halted, maybe heads roll. I remember a project manager really emphasizing, whatever happens, don't let the expenses go over the estimate. It's a clear boundary violation warning.
And it applies to more than just money, right?
Oh, yeah. Time limits. Make sure you don't go over your 15 minutes for the presentation. Quantity limits. Don't go over the recommended dosage. Speed limits, obviously. Careful you don't go over the speed limit here.
So it's about exceeding a set amount, duration, speed, anything with a defined limit. And usually exceeding it is undesirable or forbidding.
Exactly. It's often used as a caution or a formal warning. So the stakes can feel higher with this third meaning.
So for anyone listening, the big challenge with go over is context.
Absolutely. Context is king here. You have to pay attention to the surrounding words and the situation to know if someone wants to review your work, invite you for coffee, or warn you about speeding. It's a real linguistic detective job.
It is. But mastering it is incredibly useful because it's so common in all its forms. It really forces you to develop that sensitivity to context, which is, a massive part of becoming truly fluent. You learn to hear the different instruments playing the same note.
It's a great example of how dynamic English can be. Not just words, but words in action, changing meaning based on the scene.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
And once you get it, you can use that versatility yourself, which is pretty powerful.
Okay, moving on to our third phrase. This one is all about checking in, but doing it nicely. Offering support, maybe? How's something coming along?
Ah, yes. A lovely phrase. It's a really polite, very common way to ask about the progress or status of something that's, ongoing.
Ongoing is the key word there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And what's powerful about it is that it's not just demanding an update. It genuinely sounds like you're checking in, that you're interested. It often opens the door for the other person to share more, maybe even mention challenges.
It feels much softer, more collaborative than, say, is it finished yet? Or what's the status on Project X?
Worlds apart. Those can sound demanding, purely transactional. How's it coming along? Invites a conversation. Think about work. A manager asks, so how's the new software development project coming along?
Yeah, that sounds like they actually want to know, not just tick a box.
Exactly. Or a colleague asks, how's your research report coming along? It's a gentle way to gauge progress, see if maybe there are roadblocks, and crucially, it often implies an offer of help, even if unstated.
Right, so if the person replies, well, it's coming along, but I'm a bit stuck on this data analysis part.
The person who asked is perfectly positioned to say, oh, really? Maybe I can take a look. Or, have you tried talking to Sarah in analytics? It turns a status check into potential problem solving. It helps keep things on track while also building team spirit.
That makes sense. It fosters collaboration, and it works outside of work too, right? For personal stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Asking a friend who's taken a painting, hey, how's your latest painting coming along? Or asking your neighbor, how's the garden coming along this spring?
What does it do?
It shows genuine human interest in their life, their hobbies, their passions. It says, I remember you're doing this thing, and I care about it. That builds connection, shows you're paying attention. It's a social lubricant, makes people feel seen.
My aunt always asks me about my attempts at writing a novel. How's the book coming along? And even though progress is slow, her asking feels encouraging. Like she cares about the effort, the journey, not just if it's finished.
That's it, exactly. It acknowledges the process, not just about the end result, which is why it's also so common in things like event planning.
Yeah. Planning a wedding, a big party.
Right. How are the wedding preparations coming along? Or if you're organizing a fundraiser, how's the sponsorship drive coming along? Among organizers, it's constant.
And it's usually followed by anything I can help with.
Often, yes. It fosters that sense of shared effort, mutual support. We're in this together. It helps prevent people from feeling overwhelmed.
It's a real team-building phrase, even in informal settings. And you mentioned it can be used in sensitive situations, too, like health.
Yes, carefully. Asking someone recovering from surgery, how's your recovery coming along? It's a gentle, caring way to inquire about their healing. It's much softer than, are you better yet?
Which can feel impatient or dismissive of the process.
Exactly. Coming along acknowledges that healing is a process. It takes time. It shows empathy, concern, and it lets the person share as much or as little as they're comfortable with.
Okay, so digging into the nuance here, we said it's for things in progress. What else?
Well, the politeness factor is huge. It's less demanding. It invites a fuller response than just yes, no. And that openness often signals that the asker is genuinely interested, maybe willing to offer advice or resources if needed. It's collaborative.
It keeps the relationship positive, even when you're checking up on something.
Right. It maintains positive dynamics. It signals, I'm here to support, not just inspect.
So if someone asks you this, what are typical ways to respond?
You can be positive. It's coming along well, thanks. Or, pretty good run schedule. Or honest but constructive if there are issues. A bit slower than planned, but we're making progress. Or we hit a small snag with X, but we're figuring it out.
So it allows for transparency without feeling like you're failing.
Precisely. It keeps the door open for discussion.
So for you listening, How's Something Coming Along is a fantastic tool. Collaboration, managing expectations, building relationships, showing support. It does a lot.
It really does. It lets you engage meaningfully, show professionalism, but also human connection. Mastering it means you're not just asking for an update. You're offering connection. You're understanding the effort involved.
Okay, last one for today. A very direct, very practical phrase. What's something for? Simple question, but it gets right to the heart of purpose and function.
Yeah, this one's all about utility. What's something for? Is how you ask about the purpose, the function, the reason why something exists or is done, specifically in terms of its intended use or design.
It's basically asking, what does this do? Or why is this here?
Exactly. It's driven by curiosity, usually a practical curiosity. You want to understand how to use something or why a certain action is happening.
We've all been there, right? Staring at some weird gadget or button, like you get in a new car, see some unfamiliar switch on the dash. What's this button for?
Or you're helping someone clean out their garage and find some bizarre-looking tool. What on earth is this thing for? It's a fundamental question when faced with the unfamiliar.
Especially with technology or tools.
And absolutely. You need to know its function to use it correctly or even safely. Think about being in a kitchen you don't know well, seeing some gadget, asking, what's this for? Is step one to figuring out if it's going to help you peel potatoes or just take up counter space. It's proactive learning.
And it's not just objects. You use it for actions, events, too.
Definitely. If a surprise meeting pops up on your work calendar, what's this extra meeting on Friday for? Or you walk into a room that's been completely rearranged. Wow, what's all this set up for?
So you're asking about the objective, the reason behind the activity or preparation.
Right. It's seeking clarification, maybe even justification. Asking, what's this meeting for, isn't rude. It's practical. You need to know the purpose to prepare properly and contribute effectively. It helps you make sense of unexpected situations.
And what about instructions or rules? Like if a recipe has a weird step.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
What's adding this tiny pinch of salt for in this cake recipe? Or if a new sign appears on your street, what's that no parking 2-4 p.m. sign for?
Why ask that?
Because it helps you understand the reason behind the rule or instruction. Knowing why helps you comply better, or maybe adapt intelligently. Understanding the salt enhances the chocolate flavor, makes you a better baker. Knowing the parking restriction is for street cleaning helps you remember it, rather than just seeing it as an annoyance.
It stops you from just blindly following orders, turns information into actual understanding.
Exactly. It's about grasping the why behind the what.
You also mentioned it can apply to abstract concepts. How does that work?
It's less common, maybe, but still valid. Imagine debating a complex policy. If someone suggests removing a core section, you might ask, okay, but if we take that out, what's the whole policy really for anymore? You're questioning its fundamental purpose, its coherence, if a key piece is altered.
So you're challenging the core intent. Interesting. Now, how does what's it for compare to just asking why? They seem similar.
They are similar, but there's a key difference in focus. What's it for? Specifically targets purpose or function, the intended use or design. Why can be much broader. It might get into personal motivation, history, emotion.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Imagine someone holding a hammer. If you ask, why are you holding that hammer? They might say, because I was just using it, or because I didn't have anywhere else to put it. That's about their personal reason in that moment. But if you ask, what's that hammer for? The answer is about its design function. It's for hitting nails. It bypasses the person's immediate motivation and goes straight to the tool's utility.
Ah, okay. That's a really clear distinction. Motivation versus function.
Right. And what's it for? Usually comes from that practical desire, wanting to understand how to use something, interact with it, or make sense of its presence.
So it's a direct, practical question.
Very direct. It cuts to the chase. And that's why it's so useful for learners. It empowers you to get essential information, figure out your environment, make informed choices. It's fundamental curiosity applied to the practical world. It unlocks how things work.
Okay, wow. We've really dug into these 4 phrases today. It's amazing how much is packed into something like within the hour, that precision and expectation management.
And the way go over just completely shifts its meaning, review, visit, exceed. Context is everything there.
Right. And how something coming along. That gentle way of checking progress while offering support. So different from just demanding an update.
And finally, what's something for? That straightforward, essential question about purpose and function.
They really are more than just words strung together, aren't they?
Absolutely. They're like specialized tools in your communication kit. Each one does a specific job in that subtle, complex dance of English conversation. They help you convey meaning that goes way beyond the basic dictionary definitions.
And that really is the big takeaway for you listening. Getting comfortable with these phrases, understanding their nuances. It's not just about having more vocabulary. It's about gaining real fluency.
Yeah, fluency in the interaction itself.
It helps you say what you mean more precisely, understand those subtle cues from others, and just feel more confident, more connected when you're communicating in English. They're tools for better understanding, better connection.
Definitely. They help you move from just exchanging data to actually engaging with people on a more natural, intuitive level. Navigating those conversational currents becomes much smoother.
So now that we've put these phrases under the microscope, here's a little something to take away. Start noticing them more. Listen for them in conversations you hear, maybe on TV or other podcasts. Try using them yourself.
And maybe ask yourself, what other common everyday phrases are out there that we use all the time, but maybe don't fully appreciate? What other simple words hold hidden depths?
Which other linguistic tools might be keys to even richer, clearer, maybe more empathetic communication? Keep listening, keep noticing, keep exploring. Because language is this endless, fascinating journey of discovery.